Hey everybody, welcome to another video, and I appreciate you tuning in as always. Today I wanted to talk about something cruise related because I've got one of my Royal Caribbean shirts on here. Let's talk about the internet package. Let me talk about some pros and cons of buying the internet package on a cruise. Now, I'll start out with just saying that these are related to my experiences cruising on Royal Caribbean. So I've cruised with Celebrity and Norwegian, but it's been many years since I've done so. So I haven't been on their ships to experience how they've got Wi-Fi set up and that type of thing. I've never cruised with Carnival, so I don't know how they're set up. I'm assuming it's probably going to be fairly similar, but I'm just saying your mileage may vary slightly if you're on one of these other lines, but what I'm referring to is just based on my experiences being on Royal Caribbean. So that being the case, I've got a couple of pros and cons to share with you here. So probably the biggest pro, and probably one of the only ones really, is just that element of staying connected, because we are so connected nowadays with having the internet at our fingertips on our phones that we're posting things online and we're sharing pictures and videos and tweets and texts and stuff like that. We can still do that even if we're on the high seas in the middle of nowhere, and when you walk out on deck and you just look all around you, there's water everywhere. You still have your connection to your social media and your family and friends and so forth. So that's a really great reason to have that internet package. You can share all that fun stuff that you're doing, make everyone that's back home jealous about the fun cruise that you're on. That's always fun too. So you can just keep that connection alive. And that connection applies to both the people that are at home and also the people that you're on the cruise with. Because bear in mind, on trips like this or on cruise ships, a lot of people will just sort of shut their phones off and disconnect completely, because they don't want to pay for an internet package or they don't want to have that sort of connected feeling. So they're just going to say, you know what? I'm pulling the plug out. I don't want to be connected. I don't want to be reachable for the next, 4 nights, 7 nights, whatever it is. So this can really help you stay connected with the people that you're traveling with, so sort of who's doing what at what time. Maybe, are you going to go to the show? Are you going to go to the casino? Are you going to go by the pool? Are you going to go to the wine tasting thing? Whatever. It helps you stay up to speed on what people are doing, so you can spend time together or do whatever you want to do while you're on the trip. So really the biggest pro to getting the internet package is staying connected to both family and friends and so forth. Now, one of the other pros is the ability of doing something called Wi-Fi calling. Now, this is something relatively new, but the idea behind Wi-Fi calling basically means that you can make and receive phone calls over the Wi-Fi data plan on the cruise ship, not through a cellular connection, not through like voice minutes or not through a voice connection. So what I mean by that is, if you look at your basic cell phone plan, apart from unlimited data and all that stuff, if you have like a regular cell phone plan, most of them nowadays have unlimited talk and text, and then you have like a certain data allotment, but some of the older plans may have 2,000 minutes or something like that. The 2,000 minutes are handled by the talking sort of data connection, or the talking part of the cell phone system, and then the data is handled by a different part of the cell phone system. So some of these cell phone carriers will still offer a plan to where you can buy voice minutes or voice communication packages that don't include data, and those can typically be pretty expensive. So having the ability to do Wi-Fi calling and just do all of your calling as just data on your internet package is a way to save a great amount of money. You can stay in touch and you don't have to notify your carrier, AT&T, Verizon, Sprint, Cricket, and so forth. You don't have to notify them that you're traveling. You just turn your cellular data off. And to do that, it's going to be different on whatever phone you have. But if you have an iPhone, for example, under the settings, you can just flip your phone into airplane mode and then turn your Wi-Fi back on. And then on a Royal Caribbean ship, you would connect to Royal Wi-Fi. Carnival and Norwegian and other ones, their Wi-Fi names may be different, but I'm sure if you do buy the internet package, they'll give you instructions on how to connect. But Wi-Fi calling really is terrific. So just for those that are going to be traveling on Royal Caribbean, the way this works, when you get to the pier on the day your cruise leaves, when you check in, you'll be given a small piece of paper that'll have a code on it. And you'll need that code in order to connect to the internet once you get onto the ship. Now, I'm going to talk more about that in just a few minutes. But you'll basically use that code to access the internet. Now, let's talk about the cons. Now, one of these is obviously kind of a sort of an obvious thing, but because people are doing stuff on their phones, you may see people kind of walking around staring at their phones instead of, doing whatever else other people may be doing. If that annoys you, not much that can be done about that. I'm someone that likes to live in the moment and, enjoy the environment I'm in. So sometimes I get annoyed if people are staring at their phones when they should be looking up at a beautiful sunset or something like that. So, be prepared to see that. It's just the nature of the times we're in, and it is kind of what it is. So one of the cons of getting the internet package is going to be you're going to see people stuck to their phones, but you're not going to have that disconnected feeling. So, while you are connected and you can share your pictures of all the fun that you're having and your little videos and tweets and everything, you may still get your bank notifying you of things. You may still get your bills coming in. You may still get your work emails if you get that kind of thing on your phone. That's still going to be coming in. So, just something that's going to come with the territory there. You can ignore them. That's obviously an option, but you're still going to get them. The internet package could get expensive depending on what ship you're on. Some of them may offer different levels of the internet package. So I was on Freedom in August of 2016, and they had like a surf package and a surf and stream package. The surf and stream one being probably about another $8 to $10 more per day to give you faster speeds for going on Netflix and YouTube and that kind of thing. So just something to keep in mind. Consider what you're going to be using the data plan for. If you're just going to be posting a picture here and there on Instagram or checking your Facebook, the slower package may be just fine for you, but just keep that in mind. The performance is also not always going to be consistent. It may be slower at times of the day. Usually it's going to be faster in the morning or late in the evening. When not as many people are using the internet, because you figure you're on a ship with 4,000 plus people all sharing kind of one connection, maybe a couple of satellites or whatever, but it's one sort of bottleneck that everybody's data is going in and out of. So, the more people that are using it, certainly the slower it's going to be. Also, depending on where you are on the ship, it might actually perform better or worse than, other places. On Freedom last year, it did not work very well in my cabin, but it worked very well in the public areas and out on deck. So just something to keep in mind. It's going to vary consistently from ship to ship. I was on Majesty this past February, and the internet was excellent everywhere. So it's just going to vary from ship to ship. Now, I've got one last thing I want to talk about that's kind of both a pro and a con. Now, earlier I talked a little bit about having that little piece of paper that you're going to get when you check in for your cruise. You need to keep this with you the entire cruise because the system is going to log you out periodically. Now, I don't recall whether this is like an hour thing, like it's every 3 or 4 hours, or if it's just for inactivity. I forget what the parameters are for it logging you out, but the system will log you out periodically, and you will have to log back in the same way you did when you first got on the ship. So you would have to put in, you would go into your settings and then go to Wi-Fi, choose Royal Wi-Fi if you're on Royal Caribbean, and then it'll take you to a little web page where you scroll to the bottom and you tap on I've got a code, and you hit that, enter your code, and then you're connected for that next period of time. The reason why this is a pro, and you might even be thinking, how in the world is that a good thing that it logs you out? Because it makes you realize how much you're using the internet package or how much you are actually going to try to get on the internet. And with us being so connected and having access to the internet, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, we just go on it like it's something that we're used to. And we can do all those internet things on our phones while we're at home, but we can't do the things that we can do on a cruise ship while we're at home. So if you are out on a sea day and it's in the evening and there's a beautiful sunset, you don't have to pull out your phone and take a picture of it and post it right on Instagram. Maybe take a picture of it, but then put your phone away. Just enjoy it. Enjoy that moment. Breathe in that sea air. Listen to the water and the ship going, through the water. That's a beautiful sound that I can't wait to hear again. I'm going to be on Anthem next month, and I can't wait to stand out on deck and just listen and take that all in. But having to log yourself back in periodically, it makes you realize how much you're going to, going out on the internet. And you may not have to do it every single time. And I can tell you definitely when I was on Majesty, it logged me out periodically. And there were some times where I was like, you know what, I don't feel like going through and doing the login thing. I'm just going to put my phone back in my pocket. I'll deal with it later, and I'll just, live in the moment and enjoy the cruise even more, without sort of being overly connected. I still went on later on, and I, got on Facebook, posted some things and all that stuff. I mean, I still did that. I'm saying there's nothing wrong with that. But doing that less will force you to be living in the moment more. That's one of the things I really like about how it logs you out like that. So that's about all I've got as far as my pros and cons, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. Feel free to put a comment or two down in the area below the video here. Let me know, what do you think? Do you have any pros and cons for getting the internet package on a cruise? As always, thank you so much again for checking my videos out here. And if you like what I have, feel free to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. I'm going to have some more cruise-related stuff coming up down the line. I'm going to be going on a couple of cruises this year, so I'll post some more vlogs and things like that, and so forth. So again, thanks so much, and I'll see you on the next one.